If you're like me, you've probably been in an Uber or Lyft before. Recently, Uber announced that their ride-sharing vehicles would be completely electric by 2040. They also committed to contributing $800 million to help drivers switch to battery-powered vehicles. Let's hear now from the CEO of Uber, Veronica Shea.
Uber has a clear responsibility to reduce our environmental impact, and today we're committing to work with cities to build back better together and to tackle the climate crisis more aggressively than ever before.
Lyft also promised to switch to 100% electric vehicles by 2030, but said they will not help drivers buy new battery-powered cars.
That sounds pretty cool, but I'm wondering, why will it take so long for these companies to go completely electric?
That's a good question. Luckily, I called my friends at Canoo, an electric vehicle startup, to get the tea. Today, we're talking to Veronica, who works for Canoo. Hey, Veronica, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks, NexGen News, for having me. Happy to be here.
Giovanna and I were wondering, why does the transition to driving fully electric vehicles take so long?
That's a great question. There are a lot of reasons why the transition to full electrification is such a complex process. The first of which being that battery electric vehicles are at this time still more expensive to produce than traditional internal combustion engine cars. So once we see batteries achieve cost parity, probably in the next few years, I think we'll see things move significantly. Another consideration is the infrastructure for electric vehicle charging in public electric vehicle charging. So many of the, especially more rural places in the United States, don't currently have connections to public charging networks, and that can contribute to range anxiety or the fear of running out of range in an electric vehicle. But as government incentives and infrastructure continue to improve, I think we'll see a significant increase in adoption.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Last question, how is Canoo trying to revolutionize electric vehicles?
Oh, that's great. So here at Canoo, we really threw the rule book out the window and asked ourselves how we could improve personal transportation for people living in cities. The first thing that we did was adopt a unique architecture that contains all the components of the electric powertrain in a flat chassis, or a skateboard, as we call it, that goes at the bottom of the vehicle. That allows us to totally open up the interior, so there's no engine compartment, there's no trunk compartment, and give you the interior space of a large SUV on this small exterior footprint. The other thing that we decided to do was make our first vehicle available 100% by subscription only, so it'll never be for sale. Subscription is a month-to-month sort of commitment-free process that gives you everything you need and nothing you don't. Maintenance, registration, access to insurance and charging, use of the vehicle, all contained for one monthly fee with no long-term commitment. So essentially, it's really all about flexibility.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Veronica, for talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
I better start convincing my mom to get me an electric car when I turn 16. Hey, Mom!